Hello, my name is Daniel Weahkee. I'm half Navajo and half Zuni. This is my father, Brandon Weahkee. He's the Zuni. This is my mother, Sharon Weahkee. She's the Navajo. And this is an introduction of our artwork. I am taught by both of these individuals, first learning the silversmithing and the lapidary work. At this point, I'd like to introduce my father, Brandon Weahkee, so he can explain his artwork and his form of materials.
I was a jeweler before I was a fetish carver. I make my fetishes at home. I buy my stones from rock shops and from sculptors that have extra rocks. I buy them. And in a couple of occasions I've gone strictly to the mine where I have seen a big quantity of rocks, and I've had the opportunity of picking up the rocks that I wanted to carve. And I do all my own carving, my own buffing. I make all the little beady fetishes that you see right on my pieces. I make everything. And my wife helps me dress them. She makes her jewelry and I help her buff her jewelry, so it's a teamwork between us. And it's a teamwork with my son Daniel too, because sometimes I gotta stop and ask him a few questions and say, what do you think about this, or how do you do this, or how do I do that? And between all three of us, we get our work done.
I started my work back in the early 70s. Trying to learn how to do my silversmithing. Me and my husband went and bought different types of silver to start our silver work, and I tell you, we melted a lot of silver before we started doing our silver work. But a lot of my work that I do all my own leaves, my own designs that I make on my jewelry. And I also do my own lapidary work. I do my own cutting and polishing and setting the stones and all that good stuff. And then I do all my soldering and all my designs in every piece of my artwork that I do. And like this here is your Navajo style that we started out with back in the early 70s. And then my husband is Zuni. So we started later getting into the Zuni work, of inlay work. And this is the Zuni style of work here. But after that, we started collaborating both of our cultures together into one bracelets, which came out with the Zuni and the Navajo settings into one bracelet here. We do all our own buffing and setting and all our jewelry that I make here.
There's one particular question that's asked to me a lot of times, and that is, who all is buying this artwork? And the majority of a lot of people that walk into an art show, they're there, particularly at a Native American art show, they're there for culture, and they use culture and tradition into the same sentence. So that's basically the reason of what they're there for. And for me, I'm two traditions. I'm Navajo and I'm Zuni, so it's a fine line for me a lot of times, because there's some things in Zuni that I can do, but there's some things in Navajo that I cannot do. Particularly like carving an owl or a snake. In the Navajo's ways, it's not there. We're not supposed to do it. Even though if you're Navajo and you are from a water clan, your protector is that of a snake. So if somebody comes up to me and asks me to carve a snake and they're Navajo, I'll do it. Just for tradition and culture, because that's who it is. But if somebody else came up to me and asked me, outside of being Navajo, they asked me to carve it, I will not carve it, because I'm not going to step on my own feet. I love my father and I love my mother, so I got to respect that. And the people that are going through the art show to buy the artwork, that are there to buy it culturally and traditionally, because they're feeling the love that comes from it, they want to learn more about it. It's basically, I would be spitting on their face if I was to step on my own feet. I can't cross that boundary of who I am. And this artwork is basically who I am. I got my mother, I got my father, and they're the ones that made me to make this. And in all this, some people, that's why they come through those doors. And whenever we do a sale with an individual, a lot of that times I could say, yes, you're a collector, you've bought my artwork. But that bonding issue that we have, the majority of all my collectors are my friends. I'm invited to their house, they bring me meals, they're part of the family.
We both started this together. We didn't really say you do it or you do it. It was love. I can say it this way. Because her and I, we did one thing and we did it together. I mean, we screwed up all the time because we didn't go to school to learn how to do our art like they do now. We just sat down and did it because we wanted to do it. And from a ring, it went to a bracelet. From a bracelet, it went to 2 bracelets, and it went to squash blossoms and necklaces. And then one day we went to the reservation, and my aunt said, let me see your jewelry. So we showed her our jewelry, and she looks at me, she says, Manuel, she said, you shouldn't be making jewelry, you should be making fetishes. And I looked at my wife, and my wife looked at me, and then my aunt's husband said, this is how you make a fetish. And he made a bear, and Daniel and I just watched him, and then we came home and we tried and tried and tried. And this is the results of my art, and that's the results of his art. And it's something that we make, and sometimes we get it all nice and pretty like this, and we go to buff it and the head falls off or the tail falls off or it breaks in half. We never know what Mother Nature's got in promise for us, but we just keep on doing it and doing it and doing it, and this is the results.